9:40, everybody. And not many people have a resume as rich as our next guest. Are you ready for this? Sit down. His career in TV began with Dawson's Creek, and since he has served as creator, writer, and producer behind several of the most inventive and biggest hits on television, such as Everwood, Brothers and Sisters, Political Animals, Arrow, Blind Spot, The Flash, Supergirl, You, Riverdale, Titans, All American, and The Flight Attendant.
I mean, his film directorial debut came in 2000 with The Broken Hearts Club, and more recently, the critically acclaimed Love, Simon. He is now at the helm of the upcoming movie, Fly Me to the Moon. Here's a look.
We have liftoff.
You must be the launch director.
You're the killer from Manhattan.
Change plans. Now that we know the whole world will be watching, we need a backup of the moon landing.
You mean to fake it?
What?
No one can ever know what we're doing.
I cannot accept that.
They will shoot you.
What is my budget?
All right, please welcome the director of Fly Me to the Moon, writer, showrunner, producer, and all-around content creator, and our CW family member, Greg Berlanti. Great to have you here, Greg.
Nice
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Wow, that's a resume. Huh?
I've been really blessed. I've gotten to work with some amazing people, and
Yeah.
I love telling stories. And I started here in Westchester. I grew up in Rye, and somehow I ended up back here today with you guys.
It's amazing, and we're happy that you're here talking about this new film, which is really the backdrop of Apollo 11, right? And so talk to us kind of like where you kind of drew the inspiration from, why you wanted to tell that story.
So Scarlett Johansson is the lead producer on the film too, and she developed the material. And her and I had met about another project. She sent me the script, and I read it, and I just sort of fell in love. It reminded me of when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. Every weekend you could go and see an original story with big stars that was fun, especially in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, just entertaining, good time, but still about something. And I felt this movie sort of checked all those boxes, and I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was it like working with Channing Tatum, Scarlett Johansson? I mean, did you really have to like work to build chemistry, or was it kind of organic?
They have so much. They could have chemistry with your coffee mugs. They are really true movie stars.
Yes.
But they're also very funny and very smart.
Yeah, they're so hard to look at, both of them. Really.
Yeah, it's really hard.
But because they're both so witty, you know, it really was just fun. It was super fun, and you know, they make you feel like a movie star. They're so charming. You know, they're just they whenever you're with them.
Yeah. So when you look at the genre of this film, right? What would you say it is? Because it's a drama, kind of a comedy, and a romance, all mixed into one.
I would say, like Love, Simon and other things I've done, you know, it is drama and comedy mixed together, and I think those things feed one another, and I think they make for a better audience experience.
Yeah.
You know, you can make people laugh and cry, or move them, or feel.
Is there a moment in this film that's going to make you cry? Because Love, Simon, I tell you, it brought me to tears.
Well, that had the Jen Garner, the very famous now Jen Garner scene, which her and I worked on and with the writers, you know, in prep. It wasn't in the original script, and it came out of the evolution of working, which a lot of the jokes and comedy and stuff in this did too. I think there's I think what's similar about it to Love, Simon in that way is the feelings of nostalgia of high school. I think people have about this country and the unity and the sense of what we can do together. And there's so much discord right now, as we all know. And there's a real sense of, I think, I'm not shy about the patriotism I think the film kind of engenders for everyone.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, our hope.
Good.
Yeah. On the other spectrum here, you're like a forever part of our family, of course, on the CW. You have the huge hits, you know, Black Lightning, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Superman. What is the formula when it comes to creating these superhero films? Like, did you think that these would become the staples they are?
No, I mean, when we started, I really just wanted to do the characters justice. I had loved comic books as a kid, and I wanted to do them justice in that way. And we just kept trying to make shows we would want to watch, and we would want to see. And then the audience agreed with us, and we were able to sort of build out. And it was a real special moment in terms of all those great actors we got to work with and the other storytellers. And one thing sort of fed the next.
Yeah, one of the shows that I loved was You. So you're one of the folks leading the way for You, which is in its final season here.
We're shooting right now.
Yeah. Okay. So
Joe returns home to New York.
Oh. Okay. Have you you're caught up here?
Yes.
So what was I guess because you in this realm of superheroes and then Love Simon, the drama, and then there's you, which is like dark.
Yes.
Creepy. Yeah.
Right. So kind of where did you go for that? Like why did you decide that was the project for you?
I was so captivated by the novel.
Yeah.
And I felt like, oh, it's such a. Some people would read it and say, oh my gosh, stalker, and other people would read it and say, oh my gosh, she's so romantic. It was kind of crazy. The Rorschach test of that, and I like the challenge of that, and obviously without Penn Badgley playing that part, you know, that was when the show became the show. I think you're always kind of looking for that moment, you know, when you see Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum walk on set, and you say, oh wow, this is the movie, you know, and it's they bring their own prowess, and Penn really
How are you
shaped
finding that? How are you knowing who is who for the role? Because I'm sorry, I'm going to blank on the guy's name who played Simon in Love Simon.
Nick Robinson.
Nick Robinson, who I knew from
So
Jurassic
special.
Park.
Such a special
you
actor.
create this role, and it's like you can't imagine anybody else in the role besides the person. So for
Yeah.
Penn Badgley, like that's the person.
For me, it is like that. I mean, when we're casting the shows or the movies, there's only ever one person.
Yeah.
When Jim Rash, who's in this film, came in, there was nobody else to play the frustrated director of the fake moon landing than Jim Rash. You know, you just have those moments, and I feel like a lot of times I'm just the first audience member, and then it's my job to make sure the audience has that same feeling. So whether I'm show running a TV show or directing a movie, I just try and escort it through the process so that you guys feel what I feel when I watched Penn, you know, read the part for the first time, or anybody.
Right. When you're working on a show like you and you build out all of these characters in the universe, how do you, and you follow these character arcs, how do you find a natural end? Like, how do you know when that story is done?
You know, I think there's sort of two different versions that answers to that question. One is when I know I'm sort of like, maybe I don't have as many stories, so I'm always working with younger writers from the very beginning to see if they have what their version of the stories are to tell, and sometimes it can go on without me. And it just sort of, it's kind of like when you know to leave a party. You know, it's like you want to leave at the right time, I think. You know, you don't want to leave too late or you're still out there partying. You want to leave when the audience still has that, you know, great feelings about the show. And so that's ending a show is as important as how you begin it. Just like ending an episode is as important as you begin it.
Does that give you anxiety when a show
Everything
goes
gives me
on without
anxiety.
you? I know. And you don't have the control of it anymore.
That's part of the process. That's part of the fun of it too. It's like that's why creating in a way is maybe that part's actually the more easy part. The sort of like worrying about all the implications of things is the more challenging part.
Yeah. Feels like season 4. I mean, how many people is the guy going to kill him?
I know.
It's very satisfying. I will say that. That's a very satisfying conclusion.
All right, Greg, great to talk to you.
Thank you, guys.
Don't ever be that house guest that stays too long.
I know. You never want to.
Fly Me to the Moon, by the way, hits theaters on Friday. Make sure you go and check it out. It's going to be another summer blockbuster. Blockbuster, would you say? Blockbuster, right?
I hope so.
There you go. Okay. There you go.
Everybody goes.
All right,
they want to see original movies. Go.
All-star cast.
Original movies, yes.
There we go.